What's up, guys? It's Angela, and I'm here to do my recap video for Scream Season 1, Episode 5, called Exposed. Ooh. So let us jump right on into this recap, and then we can get into some theories that I'm having this week. Emma starts off the episode saying she feels exposed. Go figure. And she's talking about the video that has surfaced of her and Will. And Will says he knew nothing about it, which Will is a liar, and Emma's blaming Jake. We later find out that Brooke and Jake and Will and Nina and Tyler all knew about this. When they first met Emma, they thought she was stuck up and wanted to take her down a peg. So Nina decided she would bet Will that he could not sleep with her within a month, and he took the bet. Emma finds out from Brooke and is really mad at Will. Brooke apologizes, and she tentatively forgives her. She says, with all this death that's going on, they can't dwell on this. But she tells Jake, why do I keep saying Jake, guys? She tells Will that they're done. They're over with, so good on her. The killer calls and wants to know how it feels to be the star of the show. And there's a picture in Emma's locker of that night, and it says, just like your mother. The state police, Lorraine Brock, is brought in, and she has a history with the sheriff, with Mr. Clark Hudson over there. She's watching him squirm is like icing on the cake, because he's been given a leave of absence, and she's going to take over the case. Mr. Branson is wanting to discuss the Scarlet Letter, and I didn't really know what to feel about this. I thought this might have been a clue, but I'm not really sure. So we'll talk about this in a minute. Kieran didn't want to watch the video of Emma, and he had to deal with insurance issues in Wilmington. That's why he wasn't there last week. And I was like, damn, that is a travesty, because you need to get your hot ass back on my screen. And Jake wants to know if Will told Emma the truth, but he said no, she's already been hurt enough. So, yeah. Rachel, they're having this candlelight vigil, and Rachel's not represented up front with any of the victims, and Audrey is very distressed about this. Emma goes up to speak and talking about Riley, and she sees the Brandon James mask in the background and, gets distracted, so Noah takes over for her, and they're all lighting the candles, and she's like trying to go through the crowds like mad woman and find out who was doing this. She also got a text that said, if you tell that cop about me, you'll get your mom's heart in a box. Alrighty then. And Lorraine is putting the pieces together about what's really going on, I believe, like slowly, piece by piece. And she says that Rachel's death is an anomaly. Guys, what is up with me and words tonight? Rachel's death is an anomaly, and she doesn't fit in with Nina, Tyler, or Riley. So Audrey and Noah are figuring out that Mr. Branson has hacked people's webcams, and that Nina, Tyler, and Riley were all in on it. I'm not sure if I heard that part right. I'm pretty sure I did, but let me know down below if you heard something different. Jake broke the mayor's nose when they were trying to get this money back from them. And Will is all Mr. High and Mighty now, like 3 years after freshman year when he was such a douchebag. Still is a douchebag, but he is done. He doesn't want to do this anymore, and he says no one was supposed to get hurt. Paige is weaseling her way in with Emma. She's, trying to open up and bond with her, and she says her dad was murdered and she was too little to remember, and doesn't think the police tried hard enough. We are getting to Paige in this recap. In the theory section, stick around. Brooke's mom never checked into the hotel, and instead she went to rehab, and immediately I thought, did the mayor kill her? Jake and Will get into a fight, and Audrey takes down Will in self-defense, which I was so happy to see. And then afterwards, Emma and Kieran share a kiss after he attacks her in the hall. But I was really into the kiss. I was like, yeah, he's hot. So yeah, Audrey and Noah are searching Mr. Branson's computer, and they find that Nina, Tyler, and Riley were all involved. The killer calls and says there's a new Emma. Okay, getting back to that in a moment as well. The sheriff and Maggie get together in this episode, along with eventually Kieran and Emma. Everybody's just coming together, and Jake is comes to Brooks with pizza and tells Brooke that Tyler and Nina had a video of her dad doing things he shouldn't be. And said Will kept the video, but Jake tried to talk him out of it. And Brooke's dad was watching this on camera, and he overheard, so he wrote down Will on his little scribble pad. The police get into Nina's laptop, and Lorraine comments, "Damn, no wonder this girl is dead. So what's going on? I want to know everything that's in that laptop." Jake shows Brooke the video of the day after her mother left, with her father pulling a body out of the trunk, and he's looking pretty amused with himself while he's doing this. And then Kieran is trying to teach Emma how to fire a gun, but she says she just can't do it because she's so pure of heart and blah, blah, blah. And then that's when they do it in the wide open field. And Kieran's like, the killer could be watching. So yeah, we're living now. We're living in the moment. Okay, Kieran. Yeah, you're a sketchball. So let's get into some theories about what I thought of things in this episode. First of all, I think that it's kind of ironic that the sheriff is being put on a leave of absence. He was so sure of himself, and now they're just like, yeah, you can't do the job anymore. But especially because I watch a lot of videos, and the sheriff is like up there, like for suspects. So I'm wondering if he is the killer, how it will be to not have that inside scoop. I mean, I imagine he could still get it anyway, but if the killer will like go about things differently if he is the killer. So that will be really interesting to watch and unfold. Also, let's talk about Paige. This bitch, what is going on with her? Like, she's giving Emma a flask, you know, trying to bond with her. Then she's telling her sob story about her dad being murdered when she was too little to remember, and she doesn't think the police tried hard enough. Is anyone hearing Brandon James in all of this situation? Brandon James was shot 20 years ago. And Paige could potentially be in her early 20s. So could Paige be Brandon James's daughter? Did he have a daughter? Could Paige be Emma's sister? Because I know a lot of theorists are going around saying that Brandon and Daisy got together and produced Emma. She could not have been the original one, though. If that happened 20 years ago, I don't think she was the original one. Assuming Brandon James did not die, then that could potentially be, he could have come back into town. But I don't believe that Emma is related to Brandon James, because they're making such a big deal about her dad. And I just don't know. Like, we know the killer wants Emma to find out the truth. And that's the big question. The truth about what? The truth about what happened? The truth about her family, her friends, how everybody in that town is crooked and corrupt. But could her dad be Brandon James? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me in my head yet, until I see concrete proof. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go with Kevin as her father. Okay. The killer calls Emma and says, you know, she picks up the phone and says something, and then he's like, "Where's that new Emma?" And then she replies snappily, and he's like, "Oh, there she is." This really stood out to me because Emma was so scared in this episode. She was so weak and timid. And then about halfway through the episode, after self-defense class, right before her and Kieran shared that kiss, she said, "I'm not going to be scared anymore. This is the new Emma. I only have, I'm living. I'm alive." So the only person that knew about the new Emma was Kieran. That really put a red flag on Kieran, in my opinion. So that is a perfect transition into my top 3 suspects this week. Coming in at number 3, slipping in the polls just a little bit, but it is going to be Kevin Duvall. I don't know why. This guy has always been on my radar. Even though we have not met him, I just feel like he has more involvement to this whole story. Coming in at number 2 by himself would be Kieran. This scene was so suspicious to me with the new Emma. Nobody else knew about this. Why use that word choice? Like, oh my gosh. Although I totally am shipping Kieran and Emma together. And I would be just devastated if Kieran was the killer. And coming in at number 1, of course, is the Sheriff Clark Hudson. You guys, this guy just cannot get off my list. And he didn't really do anything this episode. He got freaking suspended. He got sent on a leave of absence. But still, I'm like, it's the sheriff. It's the sheriff. The sheriff is Brandon James's older brother. It's the sheriff. Yeah. I don't know why he's still on the list. He didn't really do anything suspicious this episode. But then again, neither did Kevin Duvall because we never see this bastard. Like, what is going on? Okay. I wanted to mention one more theory that I totally forgot before I got into suspects. And that would be talking about the mayor and the body he was moving. Do we think that that is Brooke's mother? Because I just feel like that is such an easy answer for us. And I don't know how the show would work. Is the show willing to give us some answers? Or are they willing to keep everything hush-hush? Because I personally don't believe it is Brooke's mother at the moment. Because I don't see a motive. But then again, I don't see a motive for her father having killed anybody and having to move a body out of his trunk. So what did you guys think of this episode? Who are your top 3 suspects? And who do you think that body belonged to? That is it for this week's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye!